Welcome back to our cones demonstration. Can you see that? Good. All right. So the biggest thing that I want you to know is the first line, draw it lightly, because it's going to eventually blend in with the shading, and if you have too strong of a line, it's going to stand out and it will not look curved. I also like to use one of my ebony pencils, especially when it comes to smudging or just simple shading. It just seems to, it's softer, so it seems to work better. So all right, when we're working with cones, let's start with a vertical line. Draw it lightly. I may have to draw it a little bit darker for you to see it. And we're just going to go again to the number 2 line. Really like working with that. This may even be too dark. After that, cover up the majority of that line and line up the mark for number 1 with that line. Drop a dot at 2 and at the end. And now only connect the top to the 2 dots. See, just like a pyramid. Unlike a pyramid, however, we are going to curve this line while making this the bottommost part of that curve. And you want to do your best at making this symmetrical. So sometimes it takes a couple of tries to even it out. Must be something underneath my paper that's making that bump right there. So I'll move it. There we go. And you can always clean those up later. So from here, this is just our pointed cone. There are 3, but if you know how to make this one, you'll know how to make the other ones. We have our light source coming in. And then we are going to create our shadow first. And I'm going to show this and get to the shading after I show you how to make the form and the shadow on all 3 cones. So you line up the edge with the bottom of that vertical line and create a horizontal line parallel to the bottom of the page to a little bit past 3. This is going to have a very similar shadow to a 4-sided pyramid. So you cover up most of that edge, go up just a little bit, and that's where you're going to start your line. So that is how you make the form and the shadow for a regular pointed cone. The next one is going to be flat top. Think of a construction cone. We're in Michigan, so we really know what those are. Again, you start with a vertical line, draw it lightly from the edge to 2. There, that's better. And then same thing, cover up most of it, line up that vertical line with the 1 mark, drop your dot at the edge and at number 2, and then connect the top. But you want to make sure you draw lightly for these as well too, and you'll see why in just a few seconds. You're going to create your curve after you do this. Same thing, probably thinking, okay, what's the difference here? You shall see. The difference is, at the very top, you're going to now erase. That's why I said to draw things lightly. And then you're going to stretch out an oval, just like you did with the cylinders. Simple as that. We will be shading the inside of that. So let's go ahead and lay down our shadow. And you do about the same thing, but you don't want it to come to the point. You just want it a little bit above that. Now the next one that we're going to do is inverted. Think ice cream cone. So this is going to be doing almost the opposite. However, you always start with a vertical line down to 2. Now cover up most of it, and you want to get a little bit closer to the top than you normally do. Drop your dot at 2 and the edge, and you connect the bottom to each of those. Now I want to show the inside of this inverted cone. So this is going to be the back curve, and then we're going to show the bottom curve. So when you're looking at that, and you're looking at the distance between these marks and the end, your other one's going to come down right about there. So you stretch out an oval, trying to make it as symmetrical as possible. Again, it takes a couple of times to go around. And then you can just erase that inside line. And again, hopefully you've done these light enough that they aren't going to show in with the blending. Light source, horizontal line. And this is a little bit different because it starts small and that goes a little bit bigger. So I just create a very acute angle. It doesn't have to be much, but it still has to create a triangle. And then that will be the shape for the inverted cone. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the shading. Then I'm going to do one of those time lapses so you can actually see how it all ends up.